Hey gang, nice breezy day here. Nice breezy fall day. Tomorrow's the first day of fall. And I want to talk about the Yankees. No surprise, right? um, who will be back, who won't be back, who should be back, and who shouldn't be back. Why am I doing all four? Well, because some are self-explanatory. Okay, I'm picking right from the 40-man, which obviously you got the 26-man on there too. But like, you'll have some guys in who should be back and won't be back, or who shouldn't be back but will be back. And it gives us a little bit more better understanding and insight into the Yankees' logic. Why are they doing what they're doing, right? And why not? So this is my list, okay? And I've got it broken down into all four categories. We have for discussion points too. And I want to know what you think. Let me know if your list differs, and whether it's the same. And make sure, if anybody that's not subscribed to this channel, and you're a Yankee fan, or you're just a baseball fan, okay, be sure to hit that button. It's greatly appreciated. It means the world. And I want to make sure you don't miss any Yankee news and other baseball news as well. We don't only cover the Yankees, but we cover a lot of Yankees here. Okay? But let's get into this, okay? My first list, who should be back in 24? Nestor Cortes. Now, it was a little caveat with Nestor Cortes. He's shown ability to be reliable, but he hasn't shown the ability to stay healthy this year. So I do think it's going to relegate him to long relief next year, or should be relegating him to long relief, at least in my opinion. And the same applies to Randy Vasquez and Johnny Brito. Promising young starters. I think Nestor Cortes, Randy Vasquez, and Johnny Brito would form a formidable three-man weapon in long relief. I really, really do believe that. So, or spot starters too, but Randy Vasquez, Brito, and Nestor would be a good group to have in long relief to bridge the starters to the short relievers. Okay, Matt Crook again. I think he should be back. I don't think the Yankees give him a fair shot. He was a highly touted prospect, and he has the ability to get guys out from the left-handed side. When you give him consistent playing time, he's shown to be effective. When you spot use him on here and there, it's hard to make him effective. So I do think he should be back in 2024 with a little bit of a bigger role, maybe a little more expanded opportunity here to see what he can really do. And last on my list is should be back is Oswaldo Cabrera. Okay, I do think the Yankees will probably should bring him back as being the utility guy. Young, he's got several controllable years. They'll be able to have him on the cheap, and he's shown the ability to hit, okay, and play infield and outfield. His versatility and his youth and his energy here is a welcome addition to this team. So I do think he should be back. Now, who should not be back? Okay, some of these are obvious too. Billy McKinney, Jake Bauers, Franchi Cordero, okay, Frankie Montez. I mean, those three outfielders, McKinney, Bauers, and Cordero, they've shown glimpses here and there, but they haven't shown the ability to either stay healthy or be consistent or give the Yankees what they need. In some cases, the Yankees, there's too big of a gap between their starting players and their backups. Too big of a gap. The backups aren't good enough in so many cases. And when the starters aren't good enough, when the starters are not being productive, their backups are still not good enough to replace them credibly. So this is where I think these guys should not be back. I thank them for their service, right, for being given what they have for the Yankees. But I think we need to make some upgrades in that department, whether it be in-house or out-of-house. Frankie Montez, another one. The trade shown to not be a good trade. He hasn't shown the ability to stay healthy, unfortunately, and hasn't shown the ability to be productive either here. So I think he should not be back. He should get an opportunity elsewhere and change of scenery in a low-pressure environment. I do think he'll be fine if he goes elsewhere. I don't think he should be back. And the same goes for Domingo Germán. I think his time with the Yankees should be up. Okay, he's had some glimpses. He's been consistent, but domestic violence and the substance abuse problems and stuff like that, I think his time will be up and should be up. So, and the same goes for Albert Abreu. Without those issues notwithstanding, he's got a 100-mile-an-hour fastball who doesn't have any movement. He gets hit on a regular basis. So, high-end prospect, big arm, but he's not able to put it together. And he comes in and he gets hit in so many outings where we need him to hold the guys down, hold the score down. It doesn't happen. Again, he's a young, dynamic guy. He was one of the more highly touted prospects. He was brought here, I think, from Texas, right? And still hasn't been able to do it. So I don't think he should be back here. I think you should give him an opportunity elsewhere, another change of scenery guy. Now, who will be back in 24? This is where the logic comes in, right? Because I do think Albert Abreu somehow will be brought back in 2024 because they do believe in his big arm and their ability to fix it when they have, which they haven't done yet. Yoendris Gomez, okay, is another guy. And he's called up today, actually. Okay, Wont Be Back just went on the IL with the triceps inflammation. Yoendris Gomez is a 26th ranked prospect. They're bringing him up as a fresh arm from another bullpen. He's one of their more highly touted prospects. I think he'll be back in 24. It's a young, dynamic arm. They can use some fresh arms with a lot of team control. Okay, and more protection from Rule 5 draft and more guys who I think will replace some of the guys who will will need to be replaced. Ryan Weber, I have a feeling he'll be back too in 2024. I don't know in what capacity. They haven't really used him. He's had some injury problems, but for some reason, this is that twisted logic thing where I think they'll bring back guys who they shouldn't be bringing back, like Abreu, like Ryan Weber. Ron Marinaccio, I'm on the fence with, but I think he'll be back as well. He's shown glimpses of being good, but he's also shown glimpses of being bad. But I do have a feeling he'll be back in 24. I do think Jose Trevino will be back in 24 as well, meaning they're probably going to move on from a different catcher. So I do expect him to be back. What capacity, I don't know yet, but I do expect him to be back, as well as Giancarlo Stanton. I think we're stuck with Stanton. They're going to entertain the idea of trading him, but I think it's going to be too difficult. I'd be shocked if they move Stanton. I like him, but he has not shown the ability to stay healthy and be productive. But I still think he's going to be back because they own like $90 million, and they're not going to DFA him, eat all that money. Now, who won't be back in 24? Frankie Montas. Neither should he. That's why he's on both lists. Frankie Montas won't be back. Wandy Peralta, his season ended today. Okay, going on the IL. Now, I got to give him a lot of credit. In about 160 innings pitched with the Yankees, he had about a 2.82 ERA. He's been a more reliable member of the bullpen. He's had some injury problems the last month or so. I do think he's going to probably sign a 2-year deal with somebody else. Another team got to change the scenery and be a productive member, but I just don't see him back. As well as Luis Severino, I don't think he'll be back too. I think he's going to get an opportunity elsewhere, get a couple-year deal to go with another team, maybe the National League, as well as IKF, which is why I think Oswaldo Cabrera will be back or should be back, so he can replace a guy like IKF. They'll go with the younger, cheaper utility guy, even though IKF, I wouldn't mind if he came back to be a utility guy, but I do think they're going to save some money this offseason in this particular situation, okay? And Domingo Germán, I don't think he'll be back either. So I think they're going to go with shouldn't be back and won't be back for Domingo Germán. Same goes for Matt Bowman, who they just recently brought on here. I don't think he'll be back as well either. Neither do I think Zach McAllister and Luke Weaver, guys that they brought on the last couple of weeks. And with Trevino staying, I do think Kyle Gashioka will be the guy, the odd man out on the catcher side. So I think they're going to stick with Trevino, Rortvedt, and Austin Wells. And Kyle Gashioka will be probably the fall guy. He'll probably get traded. He's got one more year before he's a free agent, so I think he'll get moved for something. And I thank him for being a good Yankee and a good teammate, and a solid player overall. I like him. And lastly, Estevan Florial is out of options, but he still does not really show the ability to hit the major leagues with any type of consistency. Okay, with a spot here, spot here, there, which is great, but I don't think he'll be back either. They can't option him anymore, so is that just going to let him walk? Okay, or trade him, or release him, or do something. I don't think he'll be back in 24. It just doesn't. I don't think it makes sense. This is where like Florial and all those other guys, the Yankees need to make some upgrades, even in-house. If they, they wind up grooming Spencer Jones for a 2024 call-up, or get somebody like Elijah Dunham to come up here, or something. And then you got Jason Dominguez coming back from Tommy John surgery as well, and they might sign somebody in free, a cheap, controllable outfielder. So, who could play credibly? Somebody like Kevin Kiermaier, okay, who's just as elite defensively as Spencer Jones. I'm not Spencer Jones, as Harrison Bader, but a little bit more consistent bat. Bats from the left-handed side, loves playing in the AL East. He admitted it this week, and he said he'd be open to coming to the Yankees. So that right there, again, Kevin, have you seen what he did to the Yankees this week as a member of the Blue Jays? Imagine him doing that for the Yankees. to the Blue Jays or to the Rays or to the Red Sox, right? And that would be awesome. It would be awesome. Or the Orioles. So those are the guys I think won't be back in 2024. So again, that's my list. Take a look at it a few times. Let me know what you think. Does it make sense? Especially when you link it to the Yankees logic or lack of logic in our views. So let me know what you think. Load up the comments and let's talk about it.